actually take it away, because if they don't take Azir, then Rare Atom have such an easy comp to execute. It's their bread and butter comp. It's the comp that they've found the most wins on recently. Kaisa and Azir is their go-to.
Kaisa, Azir, then you have the Alistar, right? Or your pick into the jungle before it gets banned away. So a lot of options available. So this looks like a nice pickup for Insulator to run into game 2. Deny from FoFo. And let's see if RA just go for the standard jungle support while they sacrifice the mid.
Yeah, the typical answers we have in the LPL against an Udyr have been both LIllia and Mundo. Those are the two champions that can really keep up speed on farm. I do think Leyan does trend more toward LIllia. He's less of a frontline player, more of a carry. So this should be the expected one. And FoFo has some interesting answers to the Azir. He's a LeBlanc player himself. And in the past, he also has been sort of a Yone main. Secretly on his Korean Challenger account, a lot of Yone games going down. So we might be seeing that with the LIllia pick already.
Yeah, so adding strength in the top lane, this is a Q pick that we saw, especially when he debuted in the LPL along with his Aatrox. eStar going to try and pick something to stop this now. I mean, ZS is... He has a wide range of champions, but what do you want to see, Clement? Just bottom lane and then ban away from RA to get rid of his top pull.
I think the way eStars pilot this composition is to play very safe in the bottom side. They don't play around Rat. Rat actually has the worst GD at 15 out of all ADCs. So this is a guy that does his hyper carry role in the late game, but for the early game, the team does not play around him. So I think they're going to leave last pick counter towards top side. They want to make sure that this Renekton isn't going mid. They're going to hold on for a while. And for Rare Atom, they probably ban out things like the Gnar. And just make sure that if it does come down to a blind matchup, they would be happy to take this into an Aatrox, into a Camille, but they just don't want to play Gnar against, play Renekton against the Gnar.
Yeah, first ban for RA, we'll watch it. There it is. And the other matchups don't seem as bad. At the very least here, for ZS. I mean, I always like it because ZS is a big Camille player too, right? And you don't want to willingly pick Camille into a Renekton. It seems like a bad idea. So, especially when you have, you know, these good scaling lanes that will team fight well, as we've already seen from eStar. Part of the engage gone, Clement. Seems like with limited engage from RA, eStar are dotting the I's, crossing the T's with Gragas to follow suit.
Just making sure they don't have as much engage coming out from the bottom side of the map. I will say that there are some other interesting Azir options here. We have seen Varus come out from Yagal before, just kind of going for the poke option. I don't think this is going to be the case, and with Yone up, that might be a real option here. Remember, we do play best of threes in the LPL, so game 2s, I think teams are a lot more willing to be a bit more creative and just try to train their compositions out. So I wouldn't take Yone off the cards just yet.
And because FoFo has shown he's been willing to play it in the past, I think that's a really good point to raise. You've got the AP threat in the jungle as well, so you can have that AD mid here from FoFo. We still need support for RA as well, so I'm really questioning how they're going to partner up these compositions. They've lost the support Alistar, which seemed like the last S tier available. And now all cards on the board. What do you want to see?
Trying to think what supports are actually up for Hong. I do think he has played Rakan in the past. Seraphine is another really, really strong pick. We haven't seen it just yet. It's probably between those two. I personally actually think Rakan's a little bit better for what Rare Atom want to do, because they want to play skirmish engage. Even though Seraphine is super strong in the meta, I do think Rakan is what they want, because so far they have a skirmish heavy composition. And if they're going to go for something like the Yone here, I do think the Rakan helps a lot.
Dude, we got Corki Azir instead. I knew you said it was coming back. You know, we talked about it. And yeah, maybe people have a bit of a snooze to start the game off in that mid lane. Nevertheless, for eStar to round out this composition, you know, they've already got a bit of engage themselves. So they just tally up the front line, and they add a flanking angle in the Aatrox. So Clement, walking through eStars and how you operate this composition that has a lot of good scaling in it as well.
I like what eStars have drafted. This is super strong scaling, great teamfight presence, good front line with Udyr and Alistar, and it also has this counter pick for ZS. Remember, eStars do like to play around topside and play for Herald, so if they can snowball that Aatrox matchup, then it still is fine against the Renekton. On the other side for Rare Atom, I think this is much more about pick rotations coming out from them. They have Rakan and double semi-globals in the package and Killer Instinct. So a lot more skirmish focus for Rare Atom. They don't really want to index into the 5v5s. I don't think their late game is as good as what eStars has drafted. But if they can get it hurt early, if they can go into jungle skirmishes, they should find bountiful rewards in that sort of situation.
And what I love is like the picks that can come out of diving, right? Whether it's in the jungle under turret, like they have really good dive on this composition. With the Corki package up as well, you know, that range is going to be absolutely massive. So it feels like RA can get in mobile. We'll just see if eStar can punish them on their way out. And if we do talk about scaling, how eStar can get to that point. Because in game number 1, Clement, they had the scaling advantage there as well, man. And they absolutely blew themselves away. So we're going to have to see more mature play to run us into this one.
It might be a surprise to many people, but doing nothing is actually a learned ability. It's not every day and everyone that can sit on a chair and just wait until power spikes. You know, these players are competitive, they're hyperactive, they're in their teenage years, and standing down just isn't something that's in their DNA. Right. eStars are gonna have to learn that the hard way.
Welcome to Summer's Rift, ladies and gentlemen. We have Xayah. We're just waiting to hear and see. There we go. Welcome back. We got a crowd back in the arena, folks. This is in Shanghai in the Hongqiao Arena. As the fans with social distancing, of course, as well. We saw a little bit before. Really nice. Again, like it brings back some of that normality that I think the whole world is missing right now. Going to be really interesting to see if, you know, able to do crowds in Iceland as well, Clement. That was exciting to hear about MSI. I actually went through and for about a couple of hours, I sat through and looked at scenery of Iceland and tried to pronounce the town names as well, which was just, to my English tongue, just did not work. So we're into game 2, and we're seeing a bit of a pile-up from RA. Now, I've just jumped back on the Chinese server, and I do this every game, so it feels really nice to watch this in action as RA committing to the Blast Cone play.
Love this late invade. It is completely unspotted by eStars. They have no knowledge about this. They will know once the bot lane shows up here, but this is going to be very difficult for Hacker to actually respond to correctly. We'll see if his current pathing takes him over to Wolves. If it does, then that's a huge and massive advantage from Leyan. I love this play from Rare Atom. Look at how their bot lane walked into the lane itself. This is a really good fake out. eStars don't actually know that they've lost their bottom side.
And they've got no deep vision to place in it as well. You notice on the other side, it's defensive vision, up into that top side red for Hacker, while River's actually going to be scouted out for Pixel Brush if there's an attempt to make a vertical guess for Hacker too. So Leyan going straight to the Wolves. This is fully cleared out, and look at the little fadeaway. Hacker's going to be running.
Let's watch Udyr. Oh no, he's headed the wrong way. They don't know about it.
He doesn't know, guys. He doesn't know. And he's going to spot out like, where the hell's my jungle? He's now going to make a decision. Where does he go?
Oh, that was sad to watch, but really smart play from Hong. I love the fake out from Hong. He actually walked as close to the terrain as possible and then walked out as if he came from Tri-Brush. That's a 200 IQ play there.
It is, and the water as it expires out as well, spotted out, right? And you can see now moving up to the top side. I'm not sure if Cube was aware. I think we saw this in game 1, not paying the respect. The ward definitely got something as he flashes over the wall, but Hacker matches. He's not running stunning. He's definitely not done until Cube goes down first blood. As Leyan up to the top side to mitigate the pressure, but it's too late, and Hacker gets something for losing his camps.
Oh, that was painful to watch. Rare Atom were so far ahead in that play, but with the first blood, it's definitely Hacker getting back a little bit on track. He doesn't have a lot of camps to clear, but he's not that far behind anymore, and he does have the gold advantage over Leyan, so it's just unfortunate that Cube would make such a rudimentary mistake. I mean, he's pushed up so far. He sees an Udyr with red buff in River, and he doesn't back off, which is kind of perplexing.
And I know that, like, we saw the ward expire just as Hacker was walking through River. Unfortunately, we only saw it through the mini-map, so I can't be 100% where the Hacker was actually spotted out. And either way, you know, Cube should have paid the respect, as you were saying, Clement. So Hacker now goes, and now he's vertical jungling the bottom side of the map. So Hung and iBoy pushed into turret. a lane that was kind of set up for early success and in a pretty good state.
Yeah, just this is the second game we have seen Q sort of make this mistake, just not being aware where the jungle position was, being pushed up so far. It's honestly a very, very easy kill, and it's rare to actually see level 3 push-in top laners just die to a gank like that. It's definitely a mistake, and you know I've talked to coaches where they will actually just bench players that die to level 3 top.
Oh
ganks.
my god!
Like, no, I'm serious. Like it's like how do you die to that? Like how do you not wave control? And expect that coming, especially when the Udyr actually walked over a ward. So it's a bit of a throwaway here from Rare Adam. Definitely a huge mistake, and I don't think Hacker is as far behind as he should have been. So still a lot of work for Rare Adam here to kind of make sure this Udyr doesn't run away.
I love the harshness, Clement, but you're right. You bring up some really valid points, right? You know, this is kind of unacceptable from a top laner, and ZS now stopping the back of Cube. So he'll have to stick in lane a little bit as ZS gets to push out. And you were mentioning Hacker, how he's in a really good spot. And even though he's down on CS, he got the double buffs. He was able to go back to clearing. He got some deep vision as well. And now it's a pretty good idea of where Leyan is pathing. Goes back to his camps that he missed out at the start of the game towards his blue side. As he backs away, he has the Balmy Cinder, and this early game for eStar, netting a 300 gold lead and some unexpected advantages, all things considered. So we have to watch out what happens next, because top side to bottom feels like the next clear path to give Hacker access to an early potential dragon.
Yeah, he is headed that way, and the magic number for junglers is 48. That's when they tick level 6 and when they look for the most aggressive plays. So we see both of the junglers actually being level 6 and heading to the bot side right now. We are going to have iBoy and Hong in with a priority buy. They are backing on the map first. This means that they can push in more. So I actually do expect Rare Adam to have a bit of an advantage here when it comes to that first Infernal.
Well, Hacker and Leyan beefing it out. Bear stance almost there, but Insulator over the side. Leyan flashes away. And after that, you know, Lilting Lullaby wasn't available, so he couldn't make any real counter-engage. Swell Seed dodged as well, but FoFo coming up means that he will be able to secure the Scuttle Crab at the very least.
Yep, and this should take him over to, he's still a little bit away from level 6. Not yet there just yet. And we do have to mention some of the big timers that are going to appear as Cube is forced to ult here.
Again, another good trade from ZS. And
yeah.
And Leyan going to be spotted on a ward here, while ShiauC's roam too. ZS has flash and ulti. Leyan doesn't have flash. He doesn't have ulti. And what the hell are Rare Adam doing, Clement?
Yeah, there just seems to be no coordination between their top laner and jungle. I don't think there's much more to say. That definitely wasn't a play that should have happened, but it did. And now
iBoy though, he's trying to bring it back for the team. Rat getting away, doesn't have to burn his flash, but iBoy hits 6 first, plays the aggression with the pickaxe, and you know, I like the play. It feels like Rare Adam going to be relying on something, as that's a good knock-up as well. Trample at the ready. iBoy just used the killer instinct, and ShiauC will be forced away at half health.
Yeah, things not going as expected in this game already. Pretty good for eStars. Now, the timer I did want to mention is 8 minutes for Corki. That's when he gets the first package. That's always rather important, and you can see Corki right now backing at the 7 and 55 minute mark. That's going to give him a lot of good time to pick that one up. So he should be coming on the map with that onto the first Drake. Really well timed by FoFo here. This is like on the point, essentially. And, you know, even with all of that turbulence in the top lane, they should still have a sizable advantage over here onto the Drake. They're getting on the map first. They do have the extra dash from package. It really is a mini equalizer in these Drake team fights. Incredibly powerful in 5v5s. And the key thing here is to see if Han can actually tick level 6. If he does, I still think that Rare Adams should be willing to set up for Drake.
Yeah, you're talking about Dragon. I know at the moment we are seeing Rift Herald being done because of the package, and I like that the transfer of presence goes to this top side, because one of these lanes needs to find that advantage. We already talked about how we can play this game late for eStar, and the scaling's there, the ability to team fights there as well, which have been the better compositions in the LPL so far. So Rare Adam trying to claw back some of the gold. They pick up the Herald. The package will time out shortly. which means they will not have priority over the dragon going down, Clement. Hung still level 5 in this bottom lane. Meanwhile, though, is Rat getting some good trades. ShiauC walking back down, and you can see, Clement, eStar want to get busy down in this lane.
There's all 4 members coming in.
Against the wall. iBoy, Killer Instinct is available. He has Flash. He has heal. FoFo behind. Hackers there as well. Phoenix doesn't get the AoE. eStar really committed for that one. Insulator waiting over the wall to get the ulti himself, but RA managed to get out while iBoy loses his Flash in the process.
A really good find on eStar's side. They ping out Hacker. They know the only way that Leyan was able to take that Herald was if he skipped it back. So Leyan has to go to base right now, and he honestly, if you look at his items, he's actually one full buy behind Hacker. So he's just been trying to stay on the map as long as possible. That means he doesn't really have the combat stats here. It's going to be an easy take for eStars, and Cube has to put on some good acting here if he actually wants ZS to walk forward. I like this play from ZS. He knows that there's something wrong, that Leyan didn't show up in the bot side. They were keeping head count. They didn't see Bambi down there, and he's just going to back off.
Actually playing the lane set pretty nicely. Hacker, meanwhile, picks up the first dragon of the game. Scuttle gets paired with it as well. Cloud or Mountain Soul this time around, ladies and gentlemen, to keep aware of. And Hacker in this early game. Also to be noted that he is 2-0 once again. Let's see if eStar can keep this up and this time at least play the composition a little bit better, Mr. Chu, as Insulator, he's dodged that well. Leyan doesn't get the Swell Seed nor the Lilting Lullaby, waiting for somewhere to put down that Herald and give one of these laners an advantage.
I really want to see how Rare Adam actually execute the pick. Now, Hong has been absolutely terrific on things like Alistar and Leona, but his Rakan is a bit of a new champion. He played this a lot back in prior seasons, but not really this split. So we will have to see how it goes, and it's really interesting for me to see Rare Adam both times going with skirmish and pick-oriented compositions, but not getting anything done in the early game. So they always put themselves on the back foot, but that middle game from them has been immaculate. They've been able to bounce back really, really well, and I want to see how they actually get things started.
Who's playing off each other's weaknesses, right? Strong early game from eStar, weak mid game. Mid game for RA was the strength because the early game wasn't too great last time around either. And, you know, we're kind of just looking at this one for more evidence about where RA are. This early game has been atrocious, and Hung getting caught out, bopped back. Can he escape to iBoy, who's stepping forward? Quickness used, but Rat takes him down. And Hacker getting the kill means iBoy's in trouble too. 3 versus 1 in this bottom lane. Turret, they don't care. Flash Bear Slap comes in. Killer Instinct interrupted by a beautiful headbutt. And eStar, I don't know if they care about Cube for now, because Insulators comes on down. And meanwhile, Rat sends out the feathers. Cube ready to be pulled in. He flashes for it as well. And I realize I do not know the past tense of the word I said in that fight. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. But eStar now 5-0.
Huge find on the bottom side of this map. Again, it really is eStars just running away with the jungle. They had that wards cutting off the shortest route from mid lane to bot lane, so they were very sure that they had the inside track on that play. They already had Hong killed already, so pretty easy follow-up on their end. And the teleport was rather ambitious coming out from Rare Adam, I have to say. I would have much preferred it if they just tried to trade down mid. I felt like that was probably the superior play, given that they had Herald and also had FoFo already in the mid lane. Yeah,
get something, because this early game has just been botched. It's just been absolutely thrown in the bin. Right now as well has a really good transition period, right, into the rest of this game. 2-0-1, Essence Reaver pickaxe, and he's in a much better position than iBoy is. So a Rat on this late game carry, he does what he does best, which is play out these team fights. He's going to be doing it a lot earlier than expected. And Mr. Chu, I know we've been really harsh on RA in this early game. I don't care, because I think honestly, like, the one thing is, you know, a lot of broadcasts through the ages have kind of been quite tempered with players and making mistakes. Obviously here in LPL English, we don't have that same interaction with players, but I think also more importantly that we have really high expectations here in the LPL. It's meant to be the best region, and when we see a team like RA that are sitting in playoffs, sitting on a 5-win streak, I don't think this team represents a top 5 team in the LPL or a top 10 LPL team, actually, at the moment either. That's the level of my harshness.
I think it's fair criticism given that their wins have recently been against sort of the middle of the pack teams. Really, this is a team that has had a rather easy schedule. They haven't played the top 3 teams in the LPL yet. They haven't faced Invictus Gaming. So a lot of their weaknesses haven't been exposed. And I think one of the big things out of Rare Atom has really been their communication with Leyan. I just don't think this team actually communicates well with their jungler. A lot of times the information doesn't seem like it's passed through, and they do have a lot of inty plays around the coordination between top lane jungle or bot lane jungle. So that's a huge thing that they need to fix. Leyan has great stats by himself, but when it comes to coordination, a big question mark there.
Yeah, I mean, there's been improvement within his individual play, I think, to say the least. We ignore that first death of his in the earlier topside jungle, but it's just something I wanted to bring up. Meanwhile, while we've been having this deep discussion, our first turret pod did go over to eStar, so more gold advantage there to the tune of 3,000 at 15 minutes into the game. And RA tried to make a response play to the top side, but it was negated. Wave pushed off, as Hung actually going to be caught out as well. Forward goes ShiauC, and he doesn't even have the Hextech Turbo Chemtech, So we'll just be backing away in the end. Well, Hacker now shows himself as well in front of the Dragon there, but ShiauC making the play. Was it too ambitious? Well, into the backline goes Cube and eStar. They've already lost one member. The cow goes down, and it might not matter as Hung and Leyan get low in the process.
Not sure it was absolutely necessary from that one, but eStars will be able to pick up the Drake in the meantime. For me, still a little bit too risky and unnecessary given their lead. I was just about to say that the biggest test for eStars right now is, given this lead, given this composition, can you actually just sit back and scale? Only take the fights that are necessary. Do not index into the skirmish. Do not tower dive. Just try to pick up plays 5v5 on objective.
Oh, like this, you come in for the counter engage and, well, Leyan gets it, but eStar have just grouped on up. I love the play here from Insulator and ZS to zone away the Herald until Hacker gets there. Tempted to be denied. Hung wants to fly on in and steal it while Cube is the distraction. Look at Hung on the side. He's like, give me the Herald, give me the Herald. Does it time out? No, he gets it. Hung the hero, flashes away. Will he die? Honestly, at this point for eStar, RA, I'd just say, take the worth.
Give the man a medal. That was a great play coming in from Hong. He has to pop his flash just to get that one down, but he makes sure his team doesn't go empty-handed. And once again, we saw a couple of questionable plays from eStars. I really don't like the flash trade coming out from Azir. He's trying to trade on a 0-2 Renekton that is going to fall off anyway. So I never think it's worth it. Just going for a flash on your jungles and flash for flash trades in that situation. So again, eStars, I think they're playing a bit angsty when they don't need to, and you know, I think maybe we are gonna see Rare Atom finally be able to find a pick with all of these global abilities.
Let's reiterate as well, flash on Hacker, of course, on the Udyr. Insulator still has his summoner up and available, but you're right, you know, the trade doesn't feel like it's worth it there. eStar, if they get angsty, we'll see repetition of what we saw in game number 1, but for now, things still under control as Herald charges mid, but doesn't take the turret down. RA still without the first turret of this game at 18 minutes in, just about. Top a breeze away, mid a breeze away as well. Bottom getting pushed in now, but not close, so iBoy moving up here, and finally, RA will get a bit more gold into their back pocket.
Okay, so this will open up some of the silence for FoFo to play with. We have seen this in the past in the Corki Azir matchup. The way Corki dances around Azir is with poke and with side lane pressure. So if he can try and match that lane in the bottom, he does run teleport himself, then that should give Rare Atom a bit of a breathing room. They will have one lane that can drag the game state out, and hopefully if he can find enough advantages there, then he can be the one rotating into team fights for the catches.
Well, we might see one of them coming up because we've got a dragon number 3, in fact, for eStar here. And it'll be a Mountain Soul that just seems impassable if eStar were able to get their hands on that. RA coming back out onto the map now with item and a half there. You can see the Verdant barrier actually picked up for Leyan. Something we've been seeing a lot more since it's buffed, since it's turned into the, you know, opposite Zhonya's Hourglass, the Seeker's Arm Guard, excuse me. So pretty standard items across the board. We've actually got 2 items for Rat. He's in a very good position now with the Kraken Slayer as teleport used up, and Rat, that big man, is going to be helping to push mid, and eStar just using the teleport to gain advantage.
Okay, this is a really good setup from eStars. They use teleport to get mid lane tower. They know iBoy is nowhere near, so it's a 5v3 push. And they also had the top lane wave set up for ZS to push in now. Now, if we look at this situation, though, I think eStar should wait just a little bit. Cube does have that teleport timer. They don't want to be caught out of surprise, so they should just wait for ZS to be able to join by walking into this, by pushing this wave out and then walking and joining for this Mountain Drake. So everything good. So far, so good. eStars do get the vision advantage right here. It's just waiting out this wave from the top lane and then just getting their final recalls in, coming to the Drake.
And ZS as well, if he continues to stay in the wave, if he decides to push it a little bit further, has teleport in about 20 seconds or so. So as Scuttle actually spawns, he'll take that away. He's doing quite a lot of damage with this one item, plus the Phage. Teleport just about up, and Dragon in 50 seconds will time it quite nicely. And for RA to win something like this, Clement, do you need to see a pick? Do you need to see earlier setup? Like, what is the guarantee that RA can find anything in this next fight?
Currently, the best way, the best thing that they can hope for is to pick off ZS as he transitions toward the bottom side, and then just pick up a teamfight win. That's the way you should try and snowball it. I don't think the rest of the targets are actually easy to take out. If you look at Rat right now, he has double summons, and plus with the Featherstorm, he's not really a viable target for the catch. So I did want to see Rare Adam try to catch out ZS, but now he's already at the Drake pit. I think it's rather difficult, and they should just look for FoFo poke and trying to get a steal on the backside of this Drake pit.
And use the package, because FoFo's timed the package here with the Dragon, so in front of this objective. It could also be really good executed fight here from RA that brings it down. Leyan Swellseed hits the wall, and Dragon just going to go down. They turn for Cube on the back end, flying through. Insulator, the first one to go down. Package lines up, and now ShiauC's on an island of fire. Over the wall, he flashes, but it's way too late. Cube goes back on in. The poke continues to fly. Cube gets healed on up. ZS can't finish the kill. They overextend. FoFo's here. The feathers fly. The poke down. It's the big one right in Rat's face.
That was insane from Rare Adam. This was a 6-1 lead from eStars. They had all the towers, all the objectives, everything. And from out of nowhere, Hong finds the perfect pick. iBoy follows up. They get Insulator down before he can even ult. And now they're on Baron.
And now here we go. Up to Hacker has the flash available. Level 11 for both of these junglers. Can he get the steal after what was a chaotic fight? At half health, all depends here for the steal, but he has no vision, and he's left it, Clement. Baron goes over to RA again, and I'm singing Deja Vu.
I can't believe this is actually happening. Another game with eStars on the team fight setup. A great Drake steal, but this is even better from Hong. He gets Insulator down before the ult even goes through. FoFo holding onto his package, timing it and saving it for this Drake fight. He's able to get the exit kills, and now the Baron goes over to Rare Adam. I'm almost at a loss for words. I feel like eStars are really snatching. They're snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Again. Again, the early game was atrocious. You know, this time it was even worse for RA. But we get into these moments of fights. We get into the mid game. And eStars get separated. They get torn apart. Dragon goes down, so they are on soul points. But we're now seeing a gold lead for RA. They've got Baron to push these waves up as well. And it does feel like there is a lot more opportunity for this next Dragon. It does feel like RA are going to be in a firm gold lead and grasp of this game number 2 as iBoy continues to push up, and you can see mid grouping is 4. They're trying to force the inner turret there too.
Yeah, eStars, they can still definitely take a win here. I think given their gold deficit, their composition should still have an advantage, but it's about if they can find the engage or not. Right now, Hacker still has the turbo chem tank, and if you look at the side for Rare Adam, you could definitely target out someone like Cube. Just start on him, that's totally fine. You have better front to back anyway, and tries to work that way in. But I think eStars right now, they should still be willing to play rather aggressive, rather than sitting back and taking too much poke.
Well, Lilting Lullaby does go through from Insulator in case he's going to try anything, but that ultimate now down from Leyan as the inner turret goes down. That's the push here from RA. Remember, they were so far behind. This Baron play, even the fact that it hits about 2,000 is still so much better than what we were experiencing gameplay-wise before. So things are a bit close, and now we have to wait for that next timer in a minute 45. What Rare Atom do with the rest of this Baron to set themselves up to take away the potential soul from eStar.
This one is going to be rather tight, and just looking at the timers right here, Rare Atom's Baron will expire before the next fight, so they're not going to get the pushing advantage. And I still think eStars have a pretty decent chance at getting this one back. Their main problem in the last team fight was they got too distracted by the Renekton and actually left Insulator open. They left a clear path for the Rakan to just go in and snipe off the Birdman versus Birdman. So this time around, as long as they have their flank set up, Hacker standing in front of Azir and ShiauC on one of the flanks, I think they should be relatively fine. They still have the superior 5v5 composition. It's just about execution and making sure they can't find the same picks as they have before.
eStar getting set up around the pit in the meanwhile, though. Look at ShiauC going deep, but Hung not willing to engage. Not too much vision left in the river after all said and done. Hacker clearing away the final control ward in the enemy jungle. These are kind of scattered back. In fact, it's only FoFo who goes back because he has package again. Corki wasn't able to pick up the Infinity Edge, but still FoFo going to be massive. The 3-0 Corki. Someone to watch once again who parted the Red Sea that stood between ShiauC and the rest of eStar.
Oh, ShiauC might be engaged on.
He actually turns it around, but he's dead. Again, ShiauC this series has not been great as Insulator isolated. The ulti doesn't matter. Lilting Lullaby, but it's actually a Night Terror. This is all, again, going down the drain for eStar with huge death timers on their mid laner and a dragon being denied.
Well, they did play the setup correctly. It's just the execution that was a little bit weird there. ShiauC is actually not a tanky Alistar. He didn't take the Unbreakable Will, despite losing a lot of HP. Okay. And he also popped the Shurelya's Battle Psalm back into the team fight. So that was very ambitious from him. I definitely felt like he could have used either Flash to get a better engage or popped his ultimate. He decided neither, and Insulator falls down because of it.
Yeah,
just
and now
baffling.
Here we are again. Clement, man, I'm so glad I'm not a color caster. You can hear I'm already losing my hair over this, man. You're gonna be bald after this. Like, this is something that no man should have to go through, and honestly, I feel for you. So, thank you for joining me here, and thank you for going through this. I'll bring you to a happy point because, at the very least, RA are playing these fights decently. They're pretty much outplaying the attempted picks that eStar are trying to set up.
It's literally got baited so hard by his own support. He was about to walk back, and he's like, oh, I'm actually out of position. That was rather tragic coming from them. Definitely a winnable fight. eStar's throwing it once more, and I'm just not sure about the communication on this team. It's, you know, it's Leyan and the rest of the team communication a little bit weird for eStars. Definitely ShiauC not on point with that one either. His teammates looked like they wanted to back out, but they didn't want to engage on that one. And a reset would have been fine there, honestly, but they don't get it. This time around, they are trying to finally find Q. He goes over the wall.
But look at the poke. This is a 3-item Corki now with blue buff. ZS has gone over the wall as well, but isolated again. ShiauC gets the engage. It's onto Leyan. He gets low, but they can't kill him. Feathers fly out as Cube continues to engage. Heals on up. Hung goes in and sets up for iBoy to follow suit. FoFo continues poking. Cube flashes forward. And eStar. What have you done with yourself? This is just a great way to end it all. Hacker lives, but eStar's pride definitely does not.
A lot of abilities expended in the early stages of the fight. They try to go onto the Renekton. They switch targets over to, I believe, FoFo. FoFo gets away rather easily, and the turnaround fight is just way too much to deal with. So a bit unfortunate for eStars. They don't find the targets on the initial try. They still go in for more, and Rare Atom says, thank you very much. They pick up the team fight, and they're about to pick up the 2-0.
Well, they're running towards the Nexus turrets. Ladies and gentlemen, you might be happy, though, that we're not going to have a delay for WE and LGD coming up. Depends on this fight, though, but immediately ShiauC burnt down again. Hacker setting up the engage. Leyan goes down, but the Nexus is bare. They just have to hit it. iBoy kiting his way back. Insulator back up and available as well, but Cube has rejoined on in. Are we going to continue in this game? FoFo Valkyrie's away. ZS can't connect. And Insulator waiting for his ulti to come up, but it's not available. FoFo going to be pulled back on in. He's at half health, kiting back, and it goes on. RA are going to get aced. And maybe, just maybe, the game could be continuing.
We spoke too soon. eStars, they find the miraculous comebacks. You know, if this series has taught me anything, don't make assumptions, okay? Just because eStars is up 5 kills, they're up a lot of gold, and they have the scaling composition, doesn't mean that they'll win the mid game. But in the flip side, where Adam also won't finish the game necessarily, Baron might actually take a victim here. But okay, eStars will at least snag this objective.
Well, I spoke too soon. I hope that wasn't a curse, but the game goes on. Oh, Clement. This is just finesse, you know. You ever picked up a bottle of, what is it? We used to go, a place in Australia called Liquorland. And you go in and you get the box wine, you know? And you ever been to a party where instead of, you know, like a nice Shiraz or a Cab Sav, you get fruity punch, you know, out of the box wine. That's what this is, man. And you serve it off as something delicate and
surprise alcohol. That sounds pretty Australian.
Yeah, the goon bag. You know, thank you to someone in chat. Definitely feels like this is the goon bag of games. Oh man. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry if you're under 18. I don't endorse anything, but this has just been an absolute whirlwind of a series. 30 seconds till Dragon, and are you ready to party again?
Here we go. This is surprisingly close. Rare Adam were up to 5k, but now they're only down to 2. And I just want to point it out, Insulator's build. This is very interesting because usually you see the Gnasher's Tooth instead of the Demonic Embrace, but this time he's actually going for a full poke composition. Yeah. So what he's thinking here is that he's actually thinking that he's not going to get a lot of sustained trades. You definitely think that you would definitely take how should I say, sustain trades, but not through the Sand Soldiers necessarily. Yeah, so he's not going to be able to set up like triple Sand Soldiers. This is kind of like, oh, you're going to poke once or twice with the Conquering Sands and just back out. That gives you a lot more DPS in that scenario. But it's a pretty of an interesting build, and I want to see if he can actually match the playstyle to make it worth it. I don't think we have seen this on any of our Azir so far.
Because I was going to bring up that, you know, you've got the Liandry's Torment, right? Or Anguish. And it does feel like, you know, you are looking for that health damage in the back towards Cube, well, really, Cube is it, right? So maybe something like Ludens would have facilitated, you know, the poking and the, I guess, adaptation in the build. But
true. This is just you're gonna poke them once, and then you're not gonna hit them for 4 seconds, and that way you get max damage from Demonic Embrace.
Yeah,
it's kind of an interesting thought pattern here coming out by Azir, and something I think it's worth taking note of is we just haven't seen this build before.
Okay. We'll see what Insulator adds to it if the game goes on, because at this rate it might. Inhibitor's still broken in the mid lane. Meanwhile, as the Dragon went down, there's nothing really for RA to worry about apart from knocking down these sides. And the Baron's going to help defend. It'll depend on if RA can get a pick. We talked a lot about their dive. FoFo adds it with poke. He's got 4 items now and a serious threat that eStars have to consider.
He really hurts right now. We have to remember in 11.1, Muramana was buffed, so you can't get those shock procs from your rocket barrage right now. It's very, very powerful. And plus he has that additional 150 attack range to throw potential crits into the enemy team composition. He's already at 60% crit right now. So if he can tag Rat down with just 1 auto attack and a rocket, he could very well force him to back away from tower defense.
Well, meanwhile, Cube's in this other side lane, and I also want to compliment, we have a very cultured chat here today, Clement. You know, I've been getting off the rails a little bit, And to add it, you know, I was talking before, this was like a goon bag. I'd like to apologize by saying that I should have called it a goon bag on the clothesline. That's the real way to do it, man. I remember growing up.
That's the true Aussie vernacular.
Dude, I used to wake up with Vegemite and go to bed with a VB. Those were the good days, and I'm definitely missing home right now.
I don't even know what a VB is,
hey,
but I know there was a picture of the Queen on your wall too when you went to bed.
Well, no, not really. On our money though, which doesn't make much sense, but yeah. Anyway, turret goes down. Welcome back, folks.
Hacker's popping Turbo Chem tank.
But ShiauC's getting poked down himself. Phosphorus Bomb, Lilting Lullaby. This is where it turns around. USS used quite nicely, cleansed rather, by Rat. As iBoy tags him on the back end. They're going forward. iBoy's ulted in. ShiauC goes for the engage. Hacker to follow up, but the bear doesn't do that much damage at this point in the game. Hung disrupts while Insulator gets a good ulti. ZS is into ulti himself, but FoFo pretty much untouched. They find it forward, and Rare Adam may have just done it. Cube is making up for the early game mistake for sure. As Insulator into the middle, he'll go golden. RA don't care about diving. And ladies and gentlemen, I cleanse you officially from this series, as RA cannot possibly lose it from here. Clement Chu, you get the reward of a 2-0 from Rare Adam.
This series, I just can't believe that eStar's lost both games given that start. It's so painful to see. Unfortunately, that last team fight was definitely one that could have continued.